Tech Talk with Trevor Galbraith, a video podcast that features industry leaders and experts from the electronics manufacturing community. Recorded at major events around the world and from the studios of Global SMT TV. Now here is your host, Trevor Galbraith.
And hello and welcome to the final show here from SMT Connect this week. It's the third day of the show and we've had a very, very busy week. Some fantastic new products that we've had a look at. And just to finish up today, I'm bringing in my last guest, who is John Meyers from Stepbeyond. Nice to see you, John.
Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So you're actually one of the top recruiters in our industry. You're US based, but you're over here currently on a European tour, sort of basically picking up some business, but also checking out to see how the European structure is over here for the jobs market.
Right.
What have been your takeaways so far?
Just very impressed. I've been recruiting electronics manufacturing for 30 years in the United States, been to all the shows there, and this is my first European show. It's amazing how many companies are here that aren't there, but also, many of my clients and, from the big Panasonics and people like that down to smaller, like Europlace that we're working with right now in the U.S. So,
Right. It's a bigger industry than you thought it was.
Well, United States, we tend to think we're the center of the world, but we're not. There's a whole world out there.
There's a whole world. Wait to go to Productronica, then you'll really get blown away.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, we've had a lot of issues over the last few years, and that is on the back of that. We've had a lot of problems with trying to get enough people to work in the factories. What have you found? You work with tier 2s and tier 3s mostly. What have you found in terms of the shortages? What have been some of the issues you've come up against?
Well, the shortage, of course, on the floor level, and we don't do a lot in the operators or floor level, but I know companies that have lines sitting idle because they just can't find people.
Really?
To like one company, Chicago, 1 out of 3 lines sits empty. Just can't find the operators. But as far as the engineers, management, the engineering in the last 5 years, companies have started hiring new grads and younger people because 10 years ago, everybody had gray hair.
Right.
And so it's really good to see that the industry is reviving by hiring younger people. And really, that's the requirement, is to attract new people in the industry. And I'm seeing even in the management, mid-level and executive management, there are some new people coming in, but especially in the EMS market, it's such a hard industry. You really have to grow up in it to know how to compete and succeed.
Right. I mean, one of the things we're finding, especially over here, is that companies are looking to employ quite a bit more automation where they can, so that they can, not necessarily so they can lay people off, more that they can redeploy their workers to more interesting jobs in the factory. Are you finding the same with the people that you're dealing with in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's going to be a requirement that, and the industry is going that way. AI is going to make a big change in everything, including my business.
Yeah.
But they have to, and that's where more engineers and good engineers, and that shortage of operators will be taken up. So I don't know that people are really going to be losing their jobs because those people don't even exist now for the jobs that are even current as far as. And as you said, it's reshoring coming back from China to the United States and Mexico and everywhere else in the world. And so they're going to have to do automation to make up for the shortage of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So what are your plans then over here in Europe? I mean, what is the mission?
The mission is really to get to know the industry here better and companies. I've worked with some companies over the years from here and India and places. Kitron has a factory in the United States, and we placed general manager, business development managers, and we're still working with that factory to place engineers and people like that. And then Europlacers, I saw them here today, and looking for East and West region sales managers in the U.S. So really to help companies that are in Europe if we want to expand or supplement their footprint in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, but also to do more business with the companies in Europe, get to know the lay of the land. I've got one European recruiter right now to supplement our ones in the United States and support in India.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that's great. What about Mexico? I mean, Mexico seems to be becoming the new China.
Yeah, well, and it's really interesting that 20 plus years ago it was all growing in Mexico.
Yeah.
I went down to Guadalajara, and of course you've got the big factories, and a lot of it is the big companies, J-Bills, Flex, etc. down there. And so it is coming back to Mexico, obviously, and I think it's going to be the same. The high volume is going to go there, but things that never did really make sense to offshore are staying and returning to onshore, whether it's Europe or the United States.
But one of the dynamics that is also happening down there is a lot of Chinese and Taiwanese companies starting to move into Mexico as well, and they've got no experience of people in that area, so they must be surely crying out for some help.
Yeah, and honestly, I just haven't had time recently to capitalize on the growth in Mexico. The United States has, even for the last few years, we've had so much business there that we've just kept so busy and trying to keep up with the demand and the growth. I mean, Q1 this year was possibly the best, most active Q1 I've seen in 30 years. Because typically Q1, everybody kind of holds in their budgets and waits for later in the year to see if things are going. And now, despite all the insecurities in the world, the economies, the supply chains, the politics, they're just going for it. They kind of slowed up a little bit in the last month, but now they're starting to pick up again. I think people know we can't wait. We can't wait to see if the other shoe drops, if something bad happens.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, because the industry is just exploding by application. There's so many new products coming into the market. The EVs growing. There's so many different challenges coming. The demand is there. So we're very fortunate in that respect. That even if there is a financial correction in the economy, we're probably going to be somewhat cushioned.
Right. Well, the green revolution, all the tech, all the infrastructure, it's a whole change in the world that has to be built.
Yeah.
And governments forget that it starts in the factories.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, it's great to see you over here.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best in the rest of your travels around Europe, and I look forward to hearing your views next time we meet back in the US.
Oh yeah, well, we'll meet somewhere.
Yeah.
I may be over here for a long time, who knows?
There you go.
I like it.
All right, thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
So that brings us pretty much to the end of this week's programming here from Nuremberg. We're going to finish off with a few shots of some of the action around the show floor over the past few days. Till then, this is...